Well guys, I officially did it. I accomplished one of my biggest goals in 2021, and that's purchasing 2 rental properties. What's up guys, it's McKeown back again with another video. You may recognize this house, although we don't have any utilities on right now. I officially closed on this rental property yesterday, and we're already walking contractors through today to get an idea of roughly what we're gonna have done to it, or what I'm gonna have done to it, as well as how much it's going to cost. So first things first, I'm gonna walk you through this particular property, how I was able to find the deal, how I was able to close on it, and what we're really looking forward to in the next 30 days with this property. So if you've been following me for the year of 2021, you've seen me remodel a house completely. My house in the middle of the year that I closed on took about a year and a half to close on because of probate. Wound up costing me over $100,000 to remodel. Now this house should not take anywhere near that. So first things first, how was I able to find this deal? I was actually able to find this deal through another real estate agent and friend of mine. He was actually in the video that I first made about this property. He kind of came up to me with an opportunity here saying, hey, I've got this house at this price. It's about this size with 4-bed, 3-bath. Would you be interested, or do you know potentially anyone that would be interested in it? And I started digging into it, and it made sense for me to purchase it. So moving forward, I got it under contract probably within that week that we spoke about it. It's taken a little bit longer to close, just with a few hiccups, but nothing that's gonna hold back. So now, having closed on it, question is, what is my budget? So if you guys have been following me since the beginning of the year, some of you may know that I rehabbed a house entirely, planned on spending 60 to 70,000, wound up spending north of 100,000. This property is really going to be the opposite. First things first, all of the floor is going to be demoed on the first floor. As you can see here, this is actually relatively new floor, and then it goes into kind of old school tile. And then I don't know what they really did with the kitchen here. And then the tile continues throughout this room, and there's actually no floor in the master. But the issue is they had, I think, 5 stray animals just freeloading anywhere and everywhere in this house. Actually, to be honest with you, there was a cat still in here from when I guess that they left here. So all of the floor is going to be redone. That's probably going to be the biggest expense. The second expense and largest expense is going to be paint. As you can see kind of on the walls here, there's just a bunch of discolorization throughout the house on different parts of the house. So stuff like this is just going to be touched up, and there's just little minor cosmetic stuff that needs to be fixed, like just putting up new switch plates here. Overall, my budget is going to be probably under 20. Now, the other extended budget that I'm going to have here is a separate contractor that I walked with prior to really filming this video. There's a ton of exterior maintenance that has really been deferred. Now, deferred meaning that it just really hasn't been taken care of over the last 20 years, and it's gonna be needing to be kept up with. So a lot of the wood on the exterior of this house needs to be replaced. And since I'm replacing the wood, I'm also going to be replacing some of the siding, or a good portion of the siding, and painting the siding white. So we're gonna have, instead of this like yellowish old school color of trim, we're gonna get a nice white colored trim, and the roof actually was negotiated and built into the purchase of the home. So I got a brand new black roof with soon to be white siding around the house. So this is actually the downstairs bathroom. Again, I apologize for the poor lighting. None of the utilities are on. So you can see that a lot of this was DIY work. So they did tile work and then just decided not to continue tile work where the vanity is going to be. So this vanity is actually going to be pulled out. We'll put a new vanity here and retile this entire floor. And then there's some tile work that needs to be completed up there. This is not necessarily in, or what I would consider the best tile nowadays. So we're probably just going to demo this shower and retile it. The same kind of thing can be said, you know, moving into the bedrooms when it comes to paint. So as you can see throughout this room, it's got a lot of wear and tear on it. But I tell people the 2 expenses that you can really put forth in a rental property that'll completely change the look is carpet and paint. My desire here to have carpet is not, so I'm actually not gonna be putting any carpet in here. It'll be all luxury vinyl plank, but painting this place will go a significant amount. All right, heading up the stairs here. Obviously, all of this carpet's going to be removed. I'm gonna get that luxury vinyl plank throughout, including this second master. Currently speaking, the second master does have a window unit. The window unit's gonna be taken out, and it does have floor vents. The reason why it has floor vents, because this is not a traditional 2-story. We do not have attic space above, so there's no way we can actually put ductwork above the second floor because there's no attic there. So I've already met with my HVAC tech, and it was something else I negotiated in the contract as well for a new HVAC unit. So this particular HVAC unit's fine, it's cooling just fine, but there's going to be a replacement of the second and smaller HVAC unit that'll take care of the other side of the house. This is the upstairs primary bathroom. One of the biggest frustrations with this particular house is a little bit of the DIY work that they decided to do. You can kind of see the plaster that they decided to just kind of do by themselves. And unfortunately, it's so much labor intensive to be able to sand this down and retexture it. So as much as I hate this kind of texture, we're just gonna leave it as is and paint over it, but you can still see the original wallpaper here that they didn't even bother tearing down. They just put the nice, and I mean nice sarcastically, the nice plaster over top of it. And the thing is, they did this throughout the entire house. So really the walls throughout the entire house have this Spanish style texture that they really did by themselves. So when it comes to this particular upstairs master, it's just gonna be really removing the floor, painting the entire place, and spicing up the bathroom just a little bit. And as you work towards the ceiling here, you can kind of see, also I'll show you guys throughout the remainder of the house, they started to really scrape what would have likely been popcorn ceiling here. They didn't do any texture to it, so I'm likely going to have someone finish the ceiling here, but they've actually done a lot of scraping and retexturing of the ceilings for the rest of the house. And this is actually just a quick example here. This definitely at one point was popcorn ceiling, but they've just retextured it with traditional orange peel, which is really what you're gonna see in today's day and age of ceilings in houses. And they've really done that even through the rest of the house's ceilings. So really the only place that they didn't touch or finish up was that second master upstairs. So when you're looking at rental properties, guys, there's a lot of things that you can find that are going to be large ticket items. Stuff that, you know, we're talking foundation, roof, HVAC units, potentially plumbing. There's small cosmetic things that may scare people. So for instance, like this, if you're looking down here, you're gonna automatically assume that it's likely some shifting in a foundation. Now, me personally, I have a great foundation contact, and I think he's done now foundation work on 3 of my properties. In the state of Texas, you really are gonna have to do foundation work on houses anyways, but that little crack would be alarming for a lot of people, but me personally, it's just a cosmetic defect of some shifting when it comes to foundation work. So again, I'll have someone just really fix that up, and it won't even be seen when a renter gets in here. Now, when it comes to the kitchen's kind of small, and I don't love Formica countertops. This is more than likely going to be a last minute thing that I throw some maybe granite on it, but I was able to negotiate the fridge, which is a relatively new fridge here. And that means I'm not gonna have to really worry about giving a tenant it. Also, this is just a tip for you guys. When it comes to giving tenants either a washer, dryer, or fridge, typically I wouldn't. It's an item that's going to be worn down and torn over time, and it's something that tenants traditionally are going to provide. But in this case, it was part of the sale, it came with it, and obviously I'm not gonna complain. So moving into what is the formal dining or dining space, I'm probably gonna put a little bit different of a chandelier. I wouldn't say that's my favorite, but again, we're looking at the ceiling here. You can see that it's not popcorn ceiling. They textured that, and they even continued that texture into the downstairs primary bedroom here too, which is substantial in size. We've got a huge UFC beanbag here that is gonna be taken out. That was from the prior owner. The other agent's gonna be taking care of that. But again, you guys can still see the, you know, not so lovely texture that they decided to go with on the walls. But again, that's just something I'm going to have to put up with. It's a ton of money for someone to come in here, scrape all that down, and then retexture. So just gonna leave it as is. But in this room, obviously it's concrete floor right now. We're gonna get the luxury vinyl plank laid down here, as well as likely some new baseboards, because they just kind of didn't really care at all when it came to painting the baseboards here. They just openly painted the walls the color that they chose, and it all spilled down into the baseboards. We're gonna do new baseboards throughout the entire house. All right, and the last ticket item that is gonna be probably substantially expensive or a large portion of my rehab budget is going to be a lot of the exterior maintenance, as I mentioned before. So this is a good example. Just outside the door to the backyard, you can kind of see all of this wood rot. So all of this is going to be taken down and replaced with fresh wood that's not crumbling at the seams. And you can see the siding down here is kind of doing the same thing. Now, this siding up here is totally fine. You don't need to replace that. What you need to probably do is replace the first couple levels of siding down there that is rotting as well. Now, as we go around the house, you'll hear dogs barking, but you'll see more of the siding over here that's deteriorated and rotted that needs to be replaced as well. Again, this is a siding that it looks like the upper portion was painted white at some point, and then the bottom was painted like a yellow, but it'll all be redone and painted. But a lot of the trim work, this is what's going to be replaced as well. So again, you see all the wood rot around the windows here that are substantially past its day and age, so that'll be replaced. And then again, just really all of the trim work around the exterior of the house. You can see it again here too. This will be replaced, and all of this will be freshly painted. So the biggest question, guys, is always, what are your numbers? Well, I'll break it down real quick here for you and give you an idea of kind of where I'm at with this particular property. Now, my budget is intended to be $20,000. Again, my budget was 60 to 70 on my last rental, so we'll see where this one winds up, but hoping to stay under 20,000 here. I purchased it for about $240. It's a large 4-bedroom, 3 full bath on the west side of Fort Worth. It's got huge potential upside, obviously, because of the size of the house and the amount that I purchased it for. Again, purchased it for $240. It appraised at the current value of $295. So I've instantly got some decent equity into it, but that's in its current condition. Obviously, I plan to make it a little bit better on the exterior and the interior. My hope and likely overall ARV when all is said and done is probably about $315 to $320. But I'm gonna be in for about $260. So I've got maybe $50K in equity that I built into the property, as well as about $50K that I've put down as my down payment. So now when it comes to the actual numbers, I'm probably gonna be sitting at about $1,600 a month. That includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Overall, $16 all in. My expenses, obviously, I'm going to manage it myself. I don't think I'm gonna have any issues needing a property management for this. It should rent out really quickly on the MLS, probably for about $2,300 or $2,400. So I'll be pocketing about $800 every single month. Now, obviously there are expenses, but I'll run you through just what my mindset is. There's 2 HVAC units. One has already been replaced, both interior and exterior units, and I have enough cash that I was given within negotiations of the contract to replace the other one. So those 2 HVAC units, one's gonna be bought in 2021 this year. The other one's gonna be likely bought in January of 2022. So really not having to worry about HVACs anywhere moving forward. The roof, again, as I mentioned earlier, negotiated. I probably will have the foundation addressed. It may cost me about $2,500 just to make sure it's all good and sound. So foundation should be good moving forward. And really, outside of maybe some plumbing and electrical, I don't see any other large ticket items that are going to be coming up anytime soon. To be honest with you, I think the plumbing and electrical should be fine. It's not a substantially old house, so really I'm not going to even consider that moving forward. And with a budget of about $20,000, it should cover the rest of the cosmetics when it comes to the interior and the exterior of the home. So my intent here was to purchase a property with a decent amount of equity already built into it, and then also remodel a little bit and build even more equity into it. But with the Dallas-Fort Worth market and the way that it's trending right now, housing is only getting more and more expensive. So if I have the opportunity to buy a rental, even if the numbers aren't absolutely incredible, like my last rental, I went, I think, $40,000-$50,000 over budget, and it still absolutely cash flowed. This is not a BRRRR method either. The last rental property that I had, I completed the BRRRR method from start to finish. This is just gonna be putting 20% down, plus another $20,000 in rehab. So all in all, I'm gonna be in for about $70,000. But I think afterwards we're looking at maybe $125,000 in total value of appreciation as well as down payment. So again, if I were to turn around and sell it, I'd make about $50,000 to $60,000. But my long-term goal here as a 32-year-old real estate agent and investor is to just accumulate property after property and hold them long term. So this won't be a huge change from start to finish, but make sure to stay tuned and follow along if you want to see this property turn from what it currently is into a fully rented out property for myself. Moving forward into 2022, I'm currently under contract for a commercial building, so I'll also be showing you guys around that particular property, especially once I close. Currently it's an attorney's office, so I can't give you too much insight on the interior of the unit, but we've got a $150,000 remodel budget on that, and I'm hoping to turn it into an absolutely incredible office space for my real estate team. So make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help, and stay tuned for the next video.